Hi, Patricia Stallworth here. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you who've been waiting so patiently for this update. A couple of things I want to talk about in this video. And I decided to put this in a video versus the email because it's easier to get it all in. So the first thing I want to talk about is the executive order that allows private equities into 401ks. And I want to talk about investing in private equities in general, in case you're doing that outside of a 401k. The other thing I want to talk about is really the shift that I've made in my practice in terms of working with women and why that's so important today for us. So just to get started, I'm going to refer to my notes so I don't miss anything. So if you see me looking down, if it looks like I'm reading, then I probably am. So we'll go from there. So the first thing is regarding private investing in private equities. Let me first explain a little bit about what private equities really are and why firms like BlackRock are so excited. So private equity and debt funds are investments where they raise capital and manage private companies or take public companies private with the ultimate goal of selling them for a profit. It involves buying and selling shares of private companies, often focusing primarily on undervalued or underperforming businesses, improving their operations, and then selling them for a higher price. So, well, the takeaway here and some things that you need to understand about private equities is that there's a real lack of transparency because they're doing these deals, behind the scenes. And so they're not going to give you a lot of information like you might get with stocks and mutual funds and things like that because they're required because of regulations to actually provide information, whereas private equities are not. Also, the other thing to think about private equities is that they have some real liquidity issues. If you can imagine, these are giant deals that they're doing, and it can take months, years sometimes to get these deals done. So it means that there's not really an open market in a sense to buy and sell like you can buy and sell stocks. However, I would think that if they're going to include these in 401ks and things like that, there's got to be some kind of mechanism for you to get out early if you need to, but I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. And the other thing, the thing that really gets it for me is that they have really high fees. And you know how I feel about high fees because I've told you this on many occasions that the higher the fee, the less money there is for you. So keeping track of the fees is extremely important. So why are companies like BlackRock touting this as leveling the playing field and being such a good thing for the little guy, something that's only been available to wealthy individuals or large giant corporations and things like that? Well, the reason that they're so interested is because sitting inside of 401ks is over $12 trillion, and they want a piece of the pie. And it's just that simple. They want your money. But I don't recommend you thinking about this unless you have a gigantic portfolio and you're really not depending on having that all available for retirement, or if you're working with an advisor who can help you sort of maybe sidestep some of the risks involved. So that's my take on investing. The other question that keeps coming up, and you're going to see this a lot, they're going to keep saying, well, you can make more in a private equity fund than you can make in like a stock or a mutual fund or something like that. And in general, they are outperforming those kinds of investments by about 3%. So on average. So if it, so you, and I'm not sure once you put the fees and things in there, if you're coming out about the same or not, but that is something that you can look into. And if you have questions, I'm happy to answer any questions you have. You can reply to this email or, just contact me. Now for my news. uh, as women, we face some unique challenges and opportunities today. And that was really sort of brought to the forefront. I was at a conference of financial advisors and listening to some of what they had to say. And they're really not, so many of them are really not addressing some of the main issues we face. And I guess they are sort of just like pretending that they don't exist. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that we earn less than men. So we don't always get a chance to take full advantage of um, different tools like compounding to grow our money with less money and less effort. I'm also talking about the fact that we live longer than men in general. And so we need to plan more purposefully. And I'm also talking about the fact that we tend to be less educated when it comes to financial matters. And so that can sometimes lead to some ill-informed decisions. So I'm wrapping up my practice and some of my programs to ensure that we can help you build some good relationships with your money and help you address some of these realities. So I want to invite you to check out my website. I've made some changes. I've also made some dramatic changes in adding 3 distinct levels that you can work with me. Everything from very basic kinds of things all the way to comprehensive plans. So all of those kinds of things are available. And that's all I have for you. But if you have some questions on a specific topic or something, or you want to learn more about something, shoot me an email. I'm thinking that really this is going to be, I like doing the the videos. So I'm thinking that I might be doing more videos in the future versus sending out long emails. So let me know what you think. And again, happy September and hang in there. Yeah, times are kind of challenging right now. So have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.